Oh, Sardids, welcome to the... Sardids, welcome to the Amigos and Co., the craziest Monday/Tuesday going in the vape industry right now. We have a full house tonight. It's packed. It's packed AF. We would like to welcome Mr. Chris Vandal all the way from Las Vegas. We would also like to welcome Mr. Legion Vapes from northern New South Wales in Australia. And my name is Breeze Tones. I'm also here in Australia. But we have some of the most beautiful people in the game. We have Mr. Overdrip all the way from Canada, up there in Canada. We have Mr. Sean motherfucking Hippie all up in the Massachusetts. We have Mr. Frames motherfucking Janklin in California, and then lastly, in the middle, always on the middle of my screen, of the Brady Bunch, Ashton Palmer's Powders, straight up from Idaho. Welcome, everyone.
Welcome. Thanks for having us, man.
Thanks.
Yeah, sorry, it's
sweet. Glad to be here.
What's up, bro?
Nice. Yeah, we thought we brought you all on for the Shedtime podcast crew, and that's really been moving and shaking as of late. So thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having us. That's how that's supposed to work, Breestones.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're supposed to thank us for coming on, and then we thank you for having us.
Yeah.
You're not on our show right now.
Yeah,
we're on your show.
Yeah, well, there was a few.
Thanks for being here on the Amigos and Co.
Yeah, a few dangle
Thanks for showing up
clacks.
to your show, Breestones. We appreciate you.
Well, I needed everybody's help to get the stream going because obviously I'm computer illiterate and I couldn't get it going on. But that is what it is. Perhaps we would like to start with a little bit of Vape International show lore with the buffet. Mr. Frames Janklin, what are you vaping on, sir?
Snap. I get to go first. This is a change. I usually always go last. So, all right. First things first. Something that's in dire need of a polish. That heavy hitter, Unholy V2 from Death Wish, Copper Roach Chop Top on top. This has got some Sammy Nitro 5150 coils out of Canada, and they're absolutely ripping. And I've got some Mangabees from 12 Monkeys inside. Canadian atomizer, Canadian coils calls for Canadian juice. You know what I mean? Only thing that's not Canadian is the mod. Maybe I should take this off and put it back on the Plague Doctor and have a full Canadian setup. But anyways, next thing I got is the Atom X from Silvercraft Creations out of the Philippines. Little side fire, single 21700 hybrid mechanical mod. Got the rye on top of there, but an abalone shell chop top. It just looks so beautiful on there. This has got a set of Clouds and Coils, God coils on the inside of it. And I'm vaping on, shout out to my man Overdrip, because I got one of his DIY mixes. This is one of his fruit mixes. He's running with the name Slippery Slope as of right now. And it's just a delicious, fruit blend of, mango, blue raspberry, black currant, and, some other stuff. I'm not 100% sure, but it's delicious. I'm loving it. And last but not least, I got my Monarch Ultralight, all green, but the Sonnet from Swee Mods on top there. Got a gator board tip and some Steesbrones, aka Breeze Tone coils on the inside of this. Some of them 26 gauge bangers that are just singing absolutely beautifully. And I got another liquid from a man Overdrip, some lemon custard on the inside of there. That's just delicious. And that's it for me. So I'm gonna throw it over to Vandal. What you got today, bro?
Oh shit. For the side piece, it'll be, since we have the Shedtime guys here. I got some lemon haze right there, but this for about a week now, and I've been sucking it down like it's fucking water. But Homeboy Punch, fucking dead on fruit punch flavor. If you guys like Hawaiian Punch, super bomb. And then the top side duel with the goat and goat heads, because I'm not fancy. But you know what? I want to see what Ashton's got, because he's got some fancy cup, something fancy in that wine glass. It looks like. I want to see what he got.
Well, since you said that, big shout out to Kentucky Shine. He's in chat. I'm sipping on a Mountain Berry Sour Ale. It's from Grand Teton. They're out of Victor, Idaho. It's super good. I can smash a whole 6-pack of these things and not feel retardedly drunk. So it's great. First up in my buffet for my vapes, it's going to be the new Piranha from Comp Life. I just got this from one of my followers on Instagram. He sent it to me for free, and I don't know why. But on top of that, I got an RDA for vaping with some breeze tones inside. Rocking some Formula CN3 from Philip Rock and Gemini Vapors. It's a strawberry red vine. So if you guys know me, I'm always vaping strawberry red vines. And then last but not least, I'm only rocking 2 setups today. It's that Monarch Ultralight with the RDA for vaping with the cloud cap on top with a little bit of fancy powder coating. And inside that, I got some 0.11 AJ Holland coils with
Very nice.
the topping it off with some Straw Dew from Kelly Kell. Because it's fabulous. What do you got, Legion?
Oh man, I got a whole list of things today, and some of them are actually quite special, near and dear to my heart, because one of my viewers reached out and offered to send me something, and when I opened the bag, lo and behold, just a ton of really cool things, and just blew my mind. Totally enjoying them. So right now, from that viewer, Easy Mode, by the way, Easy Mode sent me these, the Asgard Mini in the sky blue on the Odin, because that's a natural setup. It would be on this thing, but I have no batteries that will fit this.
No.
All
2070 bro.
No 20s. And so, yeah, there I was like an idiot, just going, nothing will fit. What's going on? So I ordered some batteries. They'll be in by the end of the week, and we'll be using this.
Don't you have like 18650 battery adapters?
But they're all 21700 size. I might have some in a box somewhere, but I wasn't going looking for them.
Yeah, like if you had like the Adroit Captain at some point.
Yeah, I've got some somewhere, but yeah, batteries on the way in for that. But yeah, the Asgard with some hoots, lovely named the Grapist. And if you've had those icy pops, grape icy pops, that artificial Hubba Bubba grape flavor, it's just a ton of that. There's nothing else. It's straight up grape. I'm actually really been smashing this for the last couple of days. Really enjoying it. Other stuff I got just came in. Oh, wait a minute. No, let's jump to the other thing. From the same person who sent me all that, they also sent me a clutch.
Ooh, very nice.
Hadn't had the clutch yet, so it is small.
It's tiny, right?
Smaller than it ever looks.
it's
I'd heard
awesome.
that. I'd seen that, but it is tiny. Axial Pro on top. Really nice setup. Love the clutch. Might take that door and get it engraved. I'm thinking about getting my my logo engraved on the
Yeah,
side.
dude.
I think that would be really cool. Because yeah, special gift from a viewer. I'm never giving this one up. In there, Coastal Clouds Blueberry Limeade. And that's the 2 main setups that I'm using right now. The other testing things, I got the Hastur from Cthulhu in. Nice little setup running with the Pioneer on top. Nice little mouth-to-lung setup. And in that is Eden, which is a snuff and donut, which sounds weird, but it's actually really, really freaking nice. So nice that I actually ended up buying like 6 or 7 bottles. They're just
Isn't like snuff's tobacco, so it's a tobacco donut?
Yes.
Ooh, that sounds good.
It sounds weird, but it's spicy. So it's just really, really nice. And then moving on into the pod realm, we've got the Vapefly TGO, that little fingerprint thing. Gotta say, for a pod setup, it's quite nice. It's quite stylish. And the fingerprint thing actually works.
I was curious on that.
I was expecting that I'd have to find some way to disable it and end up using it without. But there's just that, because it doesn't require the fingerprint for every hit. When you pick it up and it's locked, it requires a fingerprint to get going, and then if you keep vaping a couple times, it doesn't need it again. It'll just keep firing. So there's a little bit of a pause with that first hit, and if it was every hit, that would be annoying. But if it's just been a little while, it's like, oh, click, you can hear
It's
it buzz.
like waking it up again.
Yeah, it wakes up, it unlocks, and then you're good to go. In there, and in the other one I've got is some stuff I got from Vape Tins. Subohm Salt Strawberry Crispy from Ethos. Get my face out of there.
Strawberry
that's
crispy. Is that what you said?
It's Strawberry Crispy. It's a Rice Krispie Squares with strawberries, basic flavor. Really, really nice, but it's a salt. And I've discovered that salts really give me a heavy feeling in the chest. But 6 milligram in here, in a mouth-to-lung pod setup, is working really well for me.
Really? 6 milligrams salt.
Yeah, it's a salt made for sub-ohming and for chucking clouds and stuff. But for me, because it's a salt and I don't deal well with salts, it works much better in a muff lung setup. So I've got that in the TGO pod. Stupid fucking name. Decent device, stupid name. And this just came in this morning. This is the Scepter from Innikin.
Ooh.
A basic
Looks fancy.
pod system. Got your pod on the top. It's got your fire button or draw to inhale. It's a dual power, so you can go from lower to a higher power. Has a 1.2 and a 0.5 coil, running the 0.5 right now with that sub-ohm salt. Seems pretty decent. I love the feel of it. Like for a pod system, and I've been getting a lot of these these little deals. There's a ton of them out there. This just feels so much nicer, so much more solid and smooth and sleek.
I secretly think that that's Innikin, right? Isn't that's basically just a repackaged Poden? Because they do
Pretty
nine.
much.
Yeah.
Pretty much. It's Spoden in a different shape.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really, really nice. Killer flavor. And that's it. That's me. I'm done. So I guess I got to pass it on to someone. And I'm going to hit up my fellow Canadian. Dude, Overdrip, what are you doing?
All right, what's going on, everybody? Thanks for having me and my friends on the show tonight. I'll just jump in. I'm going to start off. I got the heavy hitter
Yeah.
with the Temple 28 on top. I actually got some for British size only coils in here. I got I got DIY. It's a pear apple cheesecake.
Ooh.
It's in there. I'm working on it. I think that it's already kind of there, but I'm gonna try a few other things to see if I can like enhance or I don't even know. That's the problem. I think I've vaped this much of a 30 mil, and I still don't know what I want to change about it. So, in the history, means I'm kind of done. But you never know. Next setup. Because we were talking, or I saw on Instagram and stuff like that, they're coming out with a Bonaspati too. So this is the Bonaspati on top. I got the, wow, Apocalypse. I kept on trying to say like Armageddon, and that was all I was gonna say. The Apocalypse V2. Actually, inside here, I got some semi nitro coils,
Oh.
and the liquid that I'm vaping in there is like it's another DIY. I'm trying to make like a chocolate cookie brownie. You know what I mean? Or no, I guess it would be like a chocolate brownie cookie. Does that make more sense?
Yeah.
A brookie, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. I like that. See, I like that.
Yeah,
I like
brown. That's that. There are places
A brownie and a
that's what
cookie.
they call a brownie and a cookie combined. A brookie.
Remember when I would?
Okay, well, then I guess
take
it's
the
a
brookies and put it
brookie-
in ice cream?
that. Liquid.
Nice.
That's
Fuck
what I'm
yeah.
working on.
I'm
And
into
so
it.
far, it's pretty good. This is like the first mix, though, so it'll get better, I'm sure. Next setup, I got RCM Mordor with, of course, anyone out there knows layer cake, favorite RDA ever. So I got the layer cake on top. Got some Steez Browns in there. Liquid. I'm rocking some of that Ule Bolu. It's still good. I like it. And my last setup, this one's pretty fancy. Hope you guys are ready for it.
Fancy.
It's super matchy. But I got the Purge Slim Piece with the dang on top in rainbow. And I got a Copper Rose Chop Top on top of that. And inside there, I got some more Steez Browns.
Ooh.
And that's everything for me. So I'm going to pass it off to Sean.
Well, shit. All right. I got a smock. No, not even a smock.
Ooh, it's a 213. Those things are sick.
Yeah, it's the Fushai 212. That's a great reliable mod. But first, I've got a Times Vape Sync looking extra mean with a Rye 1.2 on top. Got the State Gold chop top on there, and a little strawberry something to wet the wires. It's finally come into its own. Really starting to taste like some cheesecake now. Really beginning to enjoy the shit out of this liquid. And then I've got this guy. I don't know. It's all right. It's this mod that Times Vape made with some guy named Tenacious TX
Yeah, it's a
vape,
thing.
heavy. You know, it vapes. It's a tube.
Oh,
mod,
this thing?
You know, it does the job. Got the Odium by Unicorn Vapes on top, and this shit right here. This is some nectar of the gods right here. I'm not even gonna get it close enough so y'all can properly read this label, but it's one of Uncle Chris's betas that is stupid. It's stupid. I'd be lying to you if I told you that it was a cannoli. I almost want to call it like a cannoli and a cinnamon bun that had
A baby.
a wild car wreck, and this is the result.
It's a Canadian Oli.
It is a banger. I'm enjoying the shit out of it, but I'm keeping it simple, so that's it for me. So that leaves Adam, right?
I think so.
Yeah. As I put in chat there, I'm feeling a little vape inadequate at the moment because my buffet is pretty boring. But the entree to the menu is the standard 2019 Cape Fun Light on my swag 2 little pocket banger. Inside there is some Frank and Atticus glazed donut. I'm still on that. Talking about the salts, this is a 12 milligram situation with the salts and Crackle Town with my little MTLs in there. I have I have the Ashton Palmer's Powders Slate Edition Vert Unicorn. That one actually has a passage on the top, and in that is Affinity Creations. Did I say that right? I always get their name wrong. Affinity Creations, little cronuts, custard and deep fried donut. I get custard from it. I keep saying that. I don't actually think it has custard in it. But I also have the El Thunder 21700, which has another passage on it. I'm on a bit of a passage fang at the moment. That one has in there Prohibition Syntax, which is my deep dark secret that I keep getting into, and I keep smashing that bottle, and that's basically it. But the deep dark secrets, I'm not sure if this question has been asked before. It probably has on other vape shows, but I want to know what everybody's little secret indulgence snack food is. That thing that you keep all to yourself, and you smash a whole packet.
Well, let me just tell you this. There's this little lady named Little Debbie. That's it. That's all I need to say.
Anything
Continue.
Little Debbie, can you explain
Anything
for the
Little Debbie, bro. It doesn't matter what honey buns, fucking brownies.
All your American
fucking...
viewers know just who Debbie is, and they all know that she's a dirty whore because she
I have
sleeps
two-
with all your friends and never lets you down.
I got 2 women in my life. One of them's named Mary, and one of them's named Debbie.
Yes, sir. And they always go hand in hand. They always come.
Abso-fucking-lutely.
They always show up to the crib together, and they're like, "Yo, what's good?" And then basically what happens is it's not really a menage. It's more of like a taking turns thing, where first you hang out with Mary for a little bit, then you hang
with
out
Debbie.
with Debbie, and then after you hang out with Debbie, you're like, "Damn, I need to go hang out with Mary again." And then after you're done hanging out with Mary, she's like, "Yo, you should probably go holler at Debbie."
And then there's sometimes where you'll holler at Debbie and Mary at the same time.
Yeah, bro. And
It's
then
it's not very often, but there are times.
At that point, though, I mean, we're talking about, like, as the kids would say, getting yeeted as fuck.
Yes.
I would consider myself fairly. Yeet, yeah, yeet. I would consider myself fairly versed in American foods, and Little Debbie is something that is not ringing any bells.
Snack cake.
It's
Yeah.
a snack
Basically
cake.
what they
Snack
are, they're
cakes,
snack
bro.
cakes.
Honey
Yeah,
buns.
Like,
Egg
you ever heard of
donut.
Dolly Madison? Is that like a company that's more prevalent in your area?
What about
Uh,
Hostess?
Hostess,
You've heard of
yes.
Hostess, right?
Yeah,
it's
of
like
course.
Hostess, but better.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, they're just
Yeah.
different
This is
varieties.
trash.
Interesting.
Yeah, Little Debbie
Yeah,
shits
Hostess
on
is
Hostess.
garbage. Absolute garbage now.
Yeah. Hostess is not endorsed by the panel, so yeah. Awesome. All right.
Buzz me out of the way.
Cupcake.
Yeah.
Hashtag the angry hippie said that.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking of getting some questions together for everybody because we have, everyone's got their own thing going on. There's a lot of talent on the panel tonight, so it's hard to know where to start. I mean, the podcast is a big thing, so would you like to tell us about how's it going? Like we're a couple months in, right?
Couple. Dude,
Yeah, I
barely.
think 27 episodes.
Yeah.
27
27?
episodes in. We started this in what, January?
6
believe
months.
No, I think it was March.
Yeah.
March is when it
Yeah.
hit. March is when it hit all podcasting platforms.
Mhm.
But I do believe we started recording it before that.
Yeah. Interesting.
Oh, okay.
I do believe.
It's been too fun. I just don't remember. I
I'm
feel like
not
I've been doing it for
100% on the
years, to
date.
be honest with you.
It is as strange as that is. I'm actually not 100% on the date, but like it's been well over 6 months at this point. And it's just been one of those things that like we've had a couple dangle clacks, we've run into some things, and we've always managed to shift every time something came up, and it just seems to work.
We've been rocking for 7 months. So
Yeah.
January is when we started.
January was when we started. Yeah, I'm looking at our SoundCloud now.
I literally did the same thing.
Yeah, and I mean, what's kind of cool is like to look at our SoundCloud now. I mean, we're pushing 1,200 plays in that 7 months just on the SoundCloud platform alone. And you know, as we've often said in a lot of the episodes, and you know, even on the green room, like we're not even asking people to necessarily listen on SoundCloud. We want people to go follow us on SoundCloud, because when people follow us on SoundCloud, it gives me an actual username that I can look at and a profile for a person I can look at. And that allows me to actually pull those names of all of those followers when we hit that 500 number so that we can do our giveaway.
Yeah.
And,
Which is going to be
the give-
epic.
Yeah, the giveaway at this stage has a custom coded mod that Ashton has in his hands right now that is going to be friggin' ridiculous. So it'll be a 1-of-1 custom coded mod. It'll also have some Dynavap gear. It'll also have a pot pocket from our friend DJ Slim that he's donated. And I mean,
full menu of breeze tone coils.
Oh.
yeah, like it's pretty crazy because as time continues to go on, like we set the bar for 500 because we really wanted to have an opportunity to build up that giveaway and build a prize pack that was going to be pretty frigging epic. And my hope is that it might even get to a point where we can do a couple of prize packs, where we can do like a grand prize and a runner-up or something like that. You know what I mean? And the way things are moving, I don't think that's an unreasonable expectation at this stage.
Not at all.
I knew you guys were doing the Dynavap and the giveaway. I am following you guys now on 3 SoundCloud accounts.
See what I'm saying?
But hey, if everybody else wants
it's
to do
worth
that,
going
that's cool too.
It's worth just going over there and giving it a follow, whether you listen to it on SoundCloud or not. You know
Yeah.
what I
You
mean?
know, if you're listening to it on other platforms and you really are enjoying it, though, something you could really do to help us is a lot of those podcasting platforms have their little review platform to it. You know, you can give it your 5 stars or what have you. Go ahead and do that for us. You know, mark down a couple episodes, give it the 5 stars, whatever. That helps these shows pop up in those featured artist feeds and those for you feeds and stuff like that. And that helps us spread the word. You know, we're not just about having fun and being silly, which, I mean, granted, there's plenty of that going on in all
A
those
lot of that.
episodes.
Yeah.
But, you know, we are also about giving you guys knowledge, not just about vaping, but about other topics. Just now 2 weeks ago, we had a couple of lawyers from California who specialize in cannabis law and business law. And they ran down a lot of stuff about your rights. And that's extremely important information to know. So, you know, that's kind of our goal, is to give you guys great information in a fun and digestible way, while at the same time letting people get to know us even more. Because, I mean, we talk about some heavy shit from time to time.
Yeah.
You know, we're not afraid to get deep. Hell, we talked about some pretty crazy, wild shit when we had Vandal on. You know, we got pretty heavy and pretty deep at the end.
Yeah, dude, we got kind of spiritual and all kinds of stuff at the end of that episode, man. Like, we hit all the bases.
It's that's why I like to ask those questions, because I guess, I mean, everyone's done stuff previous to, you know, the new things they're doing now. I mean, you know, you guys moving into the podcast foray, it's, well, you know, 7 months, that's a long time. I mean, even Mr. Overdrip with the mixing it up, show, Mr. Legion, doing the Aussie Vape show. When you get into that groove, I guess, I like to ask that question to see how you feel you're faring.
What I'll say for me, like going from YouTube, like doing the green room and the Omis to going to the podcast, is it's so much more freeing doing the podcast because we don't have any guidelines or rules or things that we have to follow and we can't say this, we can't say that, we can't talk about this, we can't talk about that. So with that being said, it allows us to be more of ourselves a lot of times because there's times where we got to hold certain things back, like on the green room or the Omis and stuff, just because of YouTube's guidelines and stuff like that. There's certain topics that can't be brought up because there's a risk of your channel being taken down or whatever, and that sort of situation. So that in itself, just having that free like ability to speak about whatever, whether it's vaping, cannabis, music, arts, whatever, because like that's the big thing that Sean like kind of brought to us at the beginning was the podcast isn't necessarily vape oriented, it's not cannabis oriented, it's not this, it's counterculture. It's like anything that is considered that. So like from like rap music to maybe filmmaking to like when we had Breestones on just to talk about coffee and the coffee industry, like all these different facets of life that's we all kind of have like little interests in that we don't get to talk about on the green room because it is a vape oriented show, and a lot of the times that's what the topics are based on, even though we do have times where we go non-vapey. But like with the podcast, it's like every week it's an open plate, like we could throw whatever on that plate we want to that week and be happy with it. And I think that in itself makes the episode so much more organic because it's just like we could say literally whatever the hell comes to our head, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And another facet of that too is let's get honest with ourselves for a minute, right? What do we do when there's no vaping? What do we talk about?
Yeah.
What is the future of vaping with the Omis in the green room if there's no vaping to talk about? What do you do then? That's kind of the question that started hitting my mind was, I love what we do on the green room. And, it's a great passion project for all of us involved, including the people behind the scenes. I have to give a huge shout out to Erica and to Liv and to our whole moderation team because
they hold it down, man.
These people hold it down for us and they're involved in planning. You know what I mean? Like we have Liv, who's our lead moderator, and we have Erica, who does a ton of
if not all of our thumbnails
that you guys see. And we talk in a group chat with these people throughout the week all the time, and so like it's a family, it's a huge team of people that makes the green room happen.
Yeah, it's not just who you see on the panel. There's a lot of people behind the scenes that make things happen. Like even our sponsors, a lot of the times, giving us questions or even throwing topics at us, like, hey, like, or even giving us opportunities to bring them on and talk about new things that they're talking about, and also being able to give back to our viewers as well. Like there's a huge part of our team that like I feel like doesn't get a lot of praise that I feel like they should, because without them the green room wouldn't be what it is. You know what I mean? The same thing when it goes to like anything that we do on YouTube or any content that we create. We have such a tight-knit crew when it comes to like the Stooge crew, the Shedheads, the Omis. Like everybody's just so together and so supportive and just willing to share links and do whatever they can to help us out. And that in itself makes what we do, it just in itself makes it so much like more than the passion that we have for it. Just having those people behind us as well just makes it like tenfold.
So I mean, that's the thing, right? It's like, what do you do when all of that's gone? When you lose that subject matter, what do you do? How do you keep that momentum moving? Because none of us want to walk away from that. And then the other side of that has always been, how do you talk about the things you want to talk about but can't on YouTube? So the podcast was natural at that rate. You know what I mean? And at this stage, I mean, it sounds crazy to only be 7 months in and to look at the big picture, but we've kind of said it from the beginning. The goal is to get Joe Rogan on this podcast, not the other way around. Like the goal is to grow this platform bigger and bigger and bigger. You know, I want to see people walking down the street in every city repping a Shedtime podcast shirt. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all could be repping this in every city across the country. I want us to be able to walk into stores and people be like, "Oh my God, it's the Shedtime podcast, guys." You know,
Merch
I
link
want
on the website.
I want the
That's
the
angry
power. I want that power for us to be able to get together, you know, for a week, a month, and record, you know, 5 or 6 podcasts and a ton of content for a straight week, and produce all of that in a single compound. Like I want that big level for us, and I think that this group, the 4 of us, we each individually have differing opinions, differing tastes, and differing perspectives on things that really make that possible, because we all have so many facets to our own individual lives, and the show allows us to step outside of ourselves and step into the life of our friends for a minute. I mean, when I brought on DJ Slim as a guest, the guys literally got to step out of their own lives for a minute and step into my life and to live a part of my world that I lived for 15 years of my life. And they got to hear stories and experience one of the people that I built up my network with in that period of my life. And just the same, you know, the hope is that as we continue to grow, you know, we're going to be able to get people that, you know, Ashton has looked up to, you know, in the motocross world, and bring them on and interview them, you know, and so on and so forth. So that way we can really explore all of these things, because again, it's a counterculture show, and there's cultures behind all of these things. You know, that motocross world, there's a family
There's a lifestyle, bro.
There's a lifestyle there that's just like what we know in vaping, but it's all about riding dirt bikes. We want to explore that, and we want to share that, because how many vapors are in this group right now who like motocross, who like to rip the dirt bike? I bet you there's at least a handful of people watching this show who are into that. And it'd be pretty goddamn cool to listen to a podcast from some guys who vape, but can discuss that with you. You know what I mean? And that's the goal, is to bridge all of these gaps, to say, you know, here we are. You're into this, you're into that, you're into this, and there's something that we all have in common. And this show is going to find it.
Sounds like you're describing a band. It's basically a band. It's what makes good bands. Yeah.
Exactly.
Look,
Yeah.
I think you're absolutely right. Like, I've been watching Grim Green since I started vaping, and there's definitely a cult of personality there. People really appreciate him a lot more than the products and his knowledge. It's a personality thing, and I think one of his most popular segments on his show is that whole getting to know Grim Green part, which I have to admit, recently he's just kind of been talking about his record collection a lot, which is interesting, but I want to hear more. I want to hear about his life. Like, he talked about when he went to school, he talked about his friends and adventures he had, being in a band and being on the road and not really being successful, but, you know, being there anyway, working in coffee shops. All the background of the person's life really is engaging. It really captures people. And so I think you guys are absolutely on the right spot when you're bringing people in. It's every one of you, that background part of your life. We get to focus on whoever brought this week's guest and what's really important to them. Because you're right, there's a lot more to all of us than this. You know, this is important. This is why we all gather together. It's what we have in common. But I want to go beyond that. I want to step to that next level and really get to know that person and find out, you know, like you said, you worked in the music industry for 15 years. You know, there's a lot of story there. There's a lot of information there. There's a lot of passion there. You know, oh man, brain is gone. I want to say Palmer.
Ashton's been doing this, you know, for over 10 years now, doing powder coating. Like,
Coating rolling on November will be like 11 or 12. I lost count. something like that.
But here's the thing. I know that Ashley's into motocross, and I know that he's been working in powder and coating and all that sort of thing for a long time. And it started off one way, and he's eventually spun off to his own business, et cetera, et cetera. But I don't know anything else. You know, like books, movies. Are you from Idaho? Like all these things. These are what really captivate people. So
That's all the stuff you get on the podcast,
Yeah.
man. Like I've learned so much from about Ashton just from doing these podcast episodes because we have this segment that we do on the show. It's called Tales from the Shed. And what this is it's literally us going back to like, you know, our earlier days of Shedtime and stuff and coming up with those funny stories of like things we used to do, you know, and like that sort of thing. And like we've learned little bits and pieces. Like I never knew that Ashton took a trip to Cambodia. You know what I mean? He like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he had a crazy freaking story to tell us about it. And it was awesome because I would have never known that unless we had that episode on the podcast.
Yep.
You know what I
And,
mean? Because
like,
like, how
it's
else would we
wild.
bring up Cambodia in just random conversation? You
Well,
know what
like
I
the
mean?
big thing about a podcast for me, and like kind of touching on like Grim Green and like idols that I've looked up in the vaping industry, like Ruby Roo, Grim Green, Boy, all these people, and then being able like Nick comes out with his podcast with Ruby, so I'd listen to that while I painted, for years, and then prior to that, it's like growing up in the motocross industry and stuff and racing. Back in the day, before social media, Instagram, Facebook, you didn't have profiles that you could just go look up your favorite person or your favorite idol and see what they're doing on a day-to-day basis. Back then we were waiting for magazines to come out, and those magazines were touching on stuff that was like taken part 3 months prior to that, until it actually got into the magazine. And the thing about a podcast is like, the big thing of what Legion says is you get to find out what I like to do, what I am other than vaping, outside of what I portray on the internet or who I am on the internet, because beyond that I'm a million things other than just being able to customize mods. I grew up in this culture my whole life. And that's the big thing, is it's the cool thing is we get to hear about like we had Joel from 99 Raps. We got to hear his story about the ride, and that was a really big episode. And then we also had Beecher on. We got to hear more about Beecher, and those are the things that I live for. Those are the things that I'm super proud to be a part of. This is that I get to indulge on this information, but I get to ask the questions at the same time, and it's kind of like a fucking dream at the same time.
You mentioned magazines and stuff. Like back in the day, we'd get the magazine or the interview or whatever on TV, and your heroes or your celebrities. It was so filtered. There's a product to sell. There's a public image to protect, and it was so filtered. But one of the really cool things about our current age, for all the other shit, is that you can scroll through someone's Instagram or their Twitter, and it will be whatever movie star or musician or whatever. And there'll just be a tweet about how excited they are that the new season of Umbrella Academy comes out, or who their favorite actor in that show is, or whatever, as a fan. And sitting on the outside, it's actually really contagious to see the excitement of celebrities being real people and being enthused that Popeyes has a new chicken sandwich or whatever crap they're into, just sharing it unfiltered. That's yeah, I think that's awesome.
I mean, the thing is, right, is that even in the YouTube sphere, we forget that we're all just human. Like at the end of the day, we're all just human. Like Grim Green, like to be completely like, again, this is going to come out shocking, and it needs to come out in a way that's shocking for people, I think, to grasp the way I mean it. But in the grand scheme of things, YouTube wise, sure, Grim Green is somebody to us, but he ain't no fucking buddy in the YouTube sphere. Like he's nobody as compared to some of the biggest YouTubers on the planet. And then those people are still fucking nobody compared to some of the biggest television and movie stars and music stars. And at the end of the day, they're all just people. They're all just human beings like you and me. And, just some of them, they found a way to make a living doing reviews on the internet. And some of them found a way to act and make a living. And some of them found ways to make music and make a living. And, they're still just clueless, dumb animals like the rest of us. They're still just trying to figure out and navigate their way through life.
Speaking
They
of
still-
being clueless, point proven. I just dripped the wrong juice on the wrong Addy.
See what I mean? Like, that's it. Like, they still make mistakes. They still have things they love. They still have things they hate. They still have hobbies and passions that aren't what we see.
So, just so if you're wondering, Chris, these two juices do not go together, bro. Lemon custard and this.
Dude, I
like,
believe it.
oh,
They're really not even close
that
to
was
the
rough,
same thing.
dude. That was rough.
Nice.
Vap through it, man. Vap through it.
I'm trying, dude. I'm trying.
I found that, outside of the vaping sphere on YouTube, bringing the celebrity thing down back to the YouTube thing, there are so many people out there that, it's their personality. It's all about their personality, their presentation, and all that. And yet, when you stop and think, and just as we're watching this, I'm thinking about a couple of people that I really admire, not in the vaping sphere, but in the filmmaking and camera gear. And I'm obsessed with all that stuff, right? So I've got just as many of those in my feed. And I'm thinking, wow, yeah, they've got great personality, great presence. What do I know about them beyond the fact that they prefer Canon to Sony? Nothing. And I'm going, well, I'm starting to realize that's kind of missing, isn't it? I want to see their personality. I really kind of crave that. That's what I think is so good about, Grim Green and your shows and just the vape thing in its entirety, is that we are, as a community in general, not scared to be opinionated or to be flawed or to mess up. I mean, if you see a film review, if they drop something, that gets cut out. 9 times out of 10, if I knock something off the counter while I'm doing my up close, I leave that in on purpose. If I fuck up an install, I'll show you 2 installs in this video because I fucked up those clothes. You need to see that. I'm human, just like my viewers.
Well, that's the attitude that you kind of have to have, though. You have to just not give a fuck. And I think that that's probably getting back to what Adam asked. For me, that's like the best thing about the podcast, because like I don't have to give a fuck. Like if I have a thought pop in my head, I'll say it, because I don't really think about murdering people or doing anything crazy. So like I literally can say whatever I think of.
You don't?
And I think that it's that freedom that allows me to, like, if I want, I can be quiet for 20 minutes. Just hear what my friends are talking about, hear what the guest happens to be talking about. And I don't have to feel at any point that I should speak up. And I need to say something because I've been quiet or any of that stuff. Like if I have a question, I'll ask it. If not, I'll just totally soak it all in. So for me, there's so many like little pressures that you don't have to think about. So sometimes, on a green room, right? If we're thinking about something, I'm thinking about what my answer is going to be, because it's going to be like a question for like one of the games we play, or I'm like, I gather my thoughts on something that we might talk about. And when we're doing the podcast, that doesn't really happen. I just kind of can just sit there and just chill. And it is much more like a conversation amongst friends. Sometimes there's an expert, if you will, that'll be a part of it, like as in the guest. And it's very relaxing for me.
I think that's another big thing. Like we were talking about personalities, and then when you see them doing, certain things. I watched a podcast, well, I guess a video podcast yesterday of somebody who's like huge famous, and the interviewer was saying, like the whole reason why I'm drawn to you is because this is how you are in real life. You don't turn it on for the cameras and you don't change. You are the person you are. So, also discussing with Demo yesterday, talking about some personalities, people that we've met and all that. And I said, the biggest, I stopped myself, but the biggest disappointment when you meet someone that you're looking up to is finding out that they're a different person than that person you put your trust and belief and love into, so
yeah. And I think with that too, like with the podcast, is like when you listen to the podcast, you literally get us as us, like as raw and uncut as you're gonna get. And if you go and you listen to a podcast episode and you go and watch a green room, you're gonna see that we are the same exact dudes.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it's gonna be the same thing if you were to meet us in person. Like there's no sugarcoating, there's no fronts being put up. We are who we are, And like Chris said, like this is something I struggled with for a long time. You know, growing up, I was always very self-conscious and always worried about what everybody else had to say or what everybody else was doing, what they had to think about me and this and that. And it wasn't until I started doing the green room with Sean and Chris and starting doing the Omis and stuff that I really started to realize that at the end of the day, none of that matters, man. Because as long as I'm staying true to myself, I'm being who I am, I'm enjoying what I'm doing, and following my passions. That's all that matters. You know what I mean? And there's so many people that I've been able to connect with on a different level now because of that. You know what I mean? Because I don't have that that self-conscious like, oh, I can't say anything to them, I can't talk to them, or I can't say that because so and so is not gonna like it or whatever. It's like now I'm more comfortable being in my own skin now than I have ever been in all my 28 years of life.
Yeah, like you
And
just
that's
don't.
all
It's not that
because
you
of
don't
these-
care, but you
Yeah,
just,
it's
it's not like a debilitating. Like you're like,
exactly. It's not
I don't
something
wanna
that
say
holds me
anything,
back
or-
anymore. It's not a weight
Yeah.
on my shoulders so much anymore. It's just like I am comfortable in my skin with who I am. And that didn't really happen until like I really dove into this content creating side of things and became, a part of this community and met so many amazing people that were so welcoming and just accepted me for who I was and just made me realize that there are people out there that will accept you for who you are as long as you stay true to who you are. You know what I mean? As long as you don't flip flop and you just stick to who you are, most people are going to respect that more than anything. And I think that's something that I've learned over the time of doing these podcasts and, being able to have conversations with like Sean and Ashton and Chris, because they've helped me learn things about myself that I never really noticed before just because of conversations or things that they had or points of views that they had that I didn't really see until we had a conversation. And I'm like, oh, you know what? He's onto something there. You know what I mean? Because I never thought about it in that light. But after having one of those conversations with one of these fellows, or even you guys here on the panel, you know what I mean? Like, there's multiple times I've had conversations with people in this community and learned something about myself afterward.
Yeah.
It comes down
It's
to like
interesting.
we've reached a point of like this plateau with relatability to where people are more afraid of being relatable and like being, because people look at certain things as flaws like you see here, or things that they're ashamed of, or things that they don't like or something. And we've gotten fed so much of this like Hollywood bullshit that when you see someone actually act normal, that it's a big huge deal. But that's why I think things like this and like what you guys do with the platform works and all that works is because you guys are sharing your relatabilities and you're finding people can relate to you. And that's what it needs to be. And that's why it's such a big community that you guys are building, and the inclusion that people feel by being a part of it. And that's why I think it's going to be great. And that's why it is great. It's going to keep going because of that. You're not over here like bullshit, and you're not giving like Legion says he knocks something over, he keeps it in the review. Because when you're doing something, even if it's just me making a cup of soup, I'm going to knock it over probably 9 times out of 10. Regardless of the context, it's something that we can all get along with and something that we can all agree on and that we all are a part of. And that's why I love what you guys do, because it's just so opening and it's human. It's fucking human.
There's something Sean said in a podcast one time, and I think it's something that's very, very true. Nowadays, when it comes to like the world, there's a lot of it's lacking authenticity. You know what I mean? There's a lot of like a lack of authenticity.
Too many filters out there, bro.
Yeah, there's too many filters and too many people putting on some sort of act or show just to get views or just to get popularity or just to gain this or gain that. And it's just like, that's why we have made it a conscious decision to make sure that we stay true to who we are and just be genuine, authentic people. You know what I mean?
I think it's really ironic that if you go back a few years when all the headlines and BuzzFeed articles were about how hipster you were, the big word of the day was authenticity. Everything's got to be authentic.
Yeah.
And it came from exactly what you're talking about. It came from that concept. Hipsters were actually trying their best to be their best selves, their true selves. But it became this thing where the best way to be authentic was to do what he's doing. And it became really fake. And at the same time that's happening, there's another undercurrent. We're not putting a label on it. We're just, screw it. We'll just be ourselves. There's this thing in jazz where if you make a mistake when you're playing live, do it again and do it again. If you do it 3 times, it's now a thing. It's part of the song. A mistake, it's part of the song. And so we do the same thing. If we have what we would consider, like we're really self-conscious about it and hide it, it's a character flaw. If you try to hide it, well, then yeah, it's a mistake. It's gonna fuck you up all the time, and you're gonna react that way. But if you highlight it and push it forward and make it a thing, it's now a character trait. It's unique. It's authentic. There's a comedian I was watching. I can't remember his name the other day, and he's a young guy. He's funny. He does stand up, and he's got like a massive stutter. And even when he's on stage, he
I
can't
know exactly
control
who
it.
you're talking about,
Yeah, but he's made it part of his show.
and he's fucking hilarious.
He's fucking hilarious all the way through.
I wish I knew his name right now too. Shit.
Yeah, he is. And he doesn't even have to introduce himself as, I'm a comedian, I have a stutter, deal with me. He just gets on stage and goes. It's just part of his shtick.
You know who else, just to interject, you know who else has a hardcore stutter and I had no idea, is it James Earl Jones who voices Darth Vader?
Yeah.
Yeah, he like has had hardcore stutter all his acting life. You'd never know.
Really?
Yep,
Never would have thought that.
yep.
There's
Yeah.
actually
Is it
reading
Drew
an article
Lynch?
about Nicholas Brendan, the guy who played, what's his name? He was in Buffy. He was one of the main guys in Buffy. And apparently, yeah, he had a massive hardcore stutter. That's why he got into acting, to try and get over that.
I think I might have found the name. Was it Drew Lynch?
Yeah, that's it. That's the
Check
guy.
him out, guys, if you haven't listened to him. Dude's hilarious.
So I wanted to change tact a little bit, and I guess this is really a question for the whole panel. I mean, you know, we have photographers, volatile aromatic specialists, painters, artists, musos. You know, what hasn't been conquered for you all yet? What's something that you want to try that you haven't done yet?
Like in life?
Yeah.
It's a good question, man.
I don't know. I think when that bridge comes, I'll cross it.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like a shoot from the hip kind of kid. Like, I don't know. I've kind of done everything just to get by in life.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, I couldn't follow. I got to this point where I couldn't follow my brother in his footsteps any longer. You know, it was like bugging me. I wanted to be my own self, blah, 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 blah. And then once I found powder coating, it was like, another life of, fresh air. And then it just kept going and kept going. And I think you get to a point where like I've been on such a pursuit of happiness for the last, 3 years, and I'm getting to this point where I'm starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. Maybe it's because I'm coming into my 30s. Maybe it's because, I'm doing what I want to do for myself and my family. But, I'm at this point to where I'm pretty much at peace, and whatever comes, I'm going to be excited to tackle it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Jeez, how do we follow that?
Dude, well, I don't know, because like the whole time when Adam was talking, I was thinking about like, he's like, what is a dream of mine?
Yeah.
Like that's what I was thinking. Well, you know what? I'll answer this. So this is what I'll say about like a dream of mine is I want to live on the water. So my goal was by the time I was 50, which I still have lots of time, but by the time I'm 50, I want to have like something on the water, like a nice small little house on the water. I need like really good internet though, so like that's the problem. But then I also have 10 years ish to get this achieved, so maybe by then they'll just have like satellite internet and everybody's gonna have super high speed. That's kind of my hope. But I always the reason why that would be a dream of mine is just I love nature. Like nature and me are we're like peas and carrots. Like that's basically the best way to put it. I
Fucking
love nature.
peas and
I
carrots,
love
dude.
like water.
Forrest Gump,
I've
one of
been,
my
like,
favorite movies.
Like a water fiend my whole life. So just living on the water would be like ideal. Plus I hate the hustle and bustle of the city life. Like I grew up in the GTA, like the Greater Toronto area. So when I left my house, you could drive and there was houses or businesses the entire way. There was no farmers fields. Like it was just this crazy trek of suburbia into like full out urban, millions and millions of people. So I always dreamed about being on the lake. So that is why when I was a kid, I was like, one day, we would call it a cottage. So one day I'll have a cottage. That's what I always told myself. So that is something that I'd like to accomplish.
Overdrip by the seaside.
Not quite the seaside. A lake, nice.
That's
I like when you can go and like open your eyes underwater and it doesn't sting.
Yeah.
Damn, I really wish you were coming up to the cabin with me and James this weekend now.
We see that river though, we'd have to go somewhere else to go swimming. Like I could swim in that river, but dude, I saw like your little son
Yeah,
like
that's
out
like the
fishing and
shallow
not
part.
getting blown away by the current. Like it's not deep
Deepest
enough.
part, like some of the deepest parts, there's big ass boulders that are like the size of my house, and you can jump into the water and not even touch them.
Crazy. I
Well,
guess
you
for
can
me,
jump into the water. Not
for me, it'd be kind of going something similar to like how Ashton has like gone out and he's paved a road for himself to start his own business, work for himself, be his own boss, like that sort of situation. That's something I've always kind of strived for because since I've turned 18, I've been working, 40 plus hours a week in warehouses and, door shops and, all kinds of different manufacturing sort of places doing like hardcore manual labor. And like, for me, like I've had a lot of physical things that I've had to deal with through life. I've been throwing a couple curveballs. I've had a couple hip surgeries, heart surgeries, and a lot of this stuff. And just like as I'm starting to get older, it's just like I'm starting to notice that I don't have as much energy and strength as a lot of people my age do. So like there's a lot of times where I'm just like, damn, like I'm worn out like 95% of the time just because of like things that I deal with. And it's just like I want to be able to not have to bust my fucking ass every single day and be able to do something that I love and I enjoy and not wake up in the morning hating that I have to get up and go to work. I want to wake up excited to go to work.
Mhm.
So that's something
Dude, I'll tell you, it's a whole different thing if you're like getting up and you're busting your ass for yourself.
Mm.
That's
doing
what
it
I'm
for somebody
saying.
else.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Just
No,
like
I'm
it's
just saying,
so
like,
much more rewarding.
Believe me, I know.
You know what I
It's
mean?
way more
Don't get me
rewarding.
wrong, dude. There's some days like I get up and I still have stints of days where I'm like,
Oh yeah, and I'm sure I will, but like there's just part of me that feels like I'd be so much more fulfilled in that aspect of things because like when it comes to me doing a job, I'm one of those people that's going to give it 110% all the time. You know what I mean? If I'm given a task, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it right, and I'm going to do it well. It was just ingrained in me as a child from my father. Shout outs to Papa Jakelin. Dude's a fucking legend. Because he instilled that work ethic into me at a young age. And it's something like he can attest to it. He's seen me work. I worked for my dad for a short period of time. When it comes down to it, if you give me a task, I'm going to sit there and I'm going to do it till it's done and it's done right. And there's just so many times that I've been put into different places where it's like I see like all these other people just like slacking and I'm sitting here busting my ass. And she's like, I want to get away from that situation and be surrounded, like either be able to surround my people with surround myself with people with that same work ethic and all be going towards a common goal, or either working for myself and not having to rely on so and so to do something. It's just like I can do it, let's make it happen, move on to the next thing, that sort of situation. So those are things that I've been trying to work towards, whether it just be, I'm not saying that YouTube's ever going to be like the outlet for me, just especially with this whole situation that things are going, but maybe something might happen out of this podcast where I might get a connection with somebody and start a new career path, or who knows, you might even see me out there in Idaho with Ashton powder coating stuff at some point. Like these are things that have all been tossed around, and these are all possibilities that may happen. It's just just making things fall in line and having things set up the way they should, so that if I do end up making any of these big life-changing decisions, that I'm prepared for them. You know what I mean? So that's just kind of what the past few years have been for me, is just trying to get something set up to where I can ultimately end up either working for myself or working for a company that I actually enjoy and I'm passionate about and I'm excited about every day, compared to working at this door shop looking at the same goddamn doors all day doing the same thing every day. Like it's just so monotonous and just like over and over and over. Just like I got into the point sometimes where I literally just want to take every door off of the hinges in my house because I just don't want to look at doors anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No
It's like
more
I'm tired
like-
of it. I hate them. But that's just the cards that I was dealt at the moment, and hopefully in the future I could work towards something better.
Yeah. Anyone else? Can you join in there? Anyone?
Yeah, I'll throw my 2 cents. Been doing the YouTube thing for a while, and I don't think it's any secret that I moved from photography, and I was really, really bad at business. I was happy taking pictures. I was happy creating art. I was having a lot of fun with all of that, but I just work and making money and me just didn't really work really well. And I started moving into this thing, and it makes no money. It's the same thing. I'm thoroughly in love with what I do, but I don't make any money. So I've got to make some money. So that's kind of a goal. But I've been looking at it, and merchandising and all sponsorship and stuff. It's not really going to work for me. But one of my passions is filmmaking, and so I want to take what I'm doing now and sort of blow that up a little bit more. I've kind of got a 3-step process. It's changed over the last year just because Corona threw a curveball to things. But my goal right now is to get myself a little bit more set up for doing promotional video. So start off with in the industry, so devices and e-liquids and that sort of thing. Just those little 45-second things you see on Instagram and on Facebook and that sort of thing. Moving out from the vaping industry to other products, build that sort of sphere up. I have another project for a documentary that I wanted to make that kind of Corona killed that off, but that's still out there. I still want to make that in the next year or so. But ultimately, I want to make narrative films. I want to make stories. I have stories to tell, and I have the craft to do it, but I don't have the finances. I don't have the gear. And I know I started this with saying I have to make money, but I don't really care if they make money or not. I just want to tell those stories. I want to be able to put out that work and say, okay, there, I'm proud of this. It is the vision that I had. It's the story I wanted to tell. Just once, I'm done. Maybe I'll go and do another one, but for now, I can show this to the world. This is craft, you know. So that's kind of my. You're talking about goals or things we haven't achieved yet. Channel's doing well. Could be better. Could be worse. But I want to move to that stage at some point. Actually, making a film. Doesn't have to be a long film.
Have you ever thought about doing like let's say that I'm like some big corporation and I say, hey, Legion, I hear that you have this service where you put together like a training video about some piece of equipment that we're going to use, and you do like all the close-ups and the narration of this like breakdown of this component.
Yeah, I can do that.
Isn't that something that you could do? Like, because you literally have all the skills right now currently in your vape videos.
Yeah, stepping stone
to do those things.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was saying when I
said about like thinking the angles of what you could take what you do and make
product and promotional videography for companies, whether it's showing people visually the pretty product or how to use the product. I mean, this is all stuff that I wouldn't include in my channel because the channel is about being critical of products. But in terms of actual,
be like freelance.
Yeah, freelance work, absolutely. I mean, whether it's like I said, showing it off or showing off how to use it or showing internal companies how to do stuff. I mean, even down to, I was talking to the wife about it the other day. There's a store in our town, and they had a YouTube video, and this is about a year and a half ago, and it just came up every time I watched a video. It was the shoe store, sports shoe store, and it was the worst video. It was like, do you like footy? Join our footy team. It was like really, really, really bad. Awfully acted, awfully cut. The colors. I'm just watching this going, that's in my town. And we have a small town. And you've paid someone to make this crap, and you paid YouTube money every time I see this crap. I could get that money. I could do better. That you could pay me less than them. I would do that for you. I'm happy to do that for you. So yeah, I've got a couple of little bits and pieces that I need to acquire to put the package together, and yeah, hopefully in the next few months, that's what I want to start doing. That kind of thing.
Sounds like a business plan, if I've ever heard one.
Oh yeah, man.
It is. You want to invest?
Sure.
I got $5. What'll lot buy me? Is that like a gold membership? Oh,
dang it! Film gear is pricey.
Yeah.
That's the caveat to that.
I think $5 is the platinum tier sponsorship at the moment, so it's all every dollar counts.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think Sean, being in the audio side, you understand exactly where I'm coming from. You don't want the gear because it's shiny. You don't want it because it's pretty. You don't want to spend that fucking much money on it. It's all really expensive. You want it because of what it allows you to do.
Yeah, I mean,
all
a lot
about
of people,
function.
a lot of people don't actually know this about me, but I actually have IMDb film credits. So I know entirely what you mean. And you know, I've been sitting here thinking about the answer to this question because you know, I've kind of I'm kind of like Ashton. Every time I had that dream and that goal that I really wanted, I just kind of set forth onto it. You know, I wanted to be the rock star. I wanted to get on stage and to rock a crowd that was huge, and I did that. I managed to get onto a huge stage and rock, you know, a 40,000 head crowd at a festival and have that experience. And what's interesting is that that's what inevitably led me into film, because you know artists need music videos and you need to film, you know, make these music videos for them, and then that leads you into this realm of film in general, and you end up working with people who are making independent films, and that's how you end up in that situation that I was in, where I ended up getting an IMDb film credit. And I think now at this stage, it's really turned into that growing. The business that I got that credit with is the same label I was signed to as a recording artist, and we've just really shifted our operation away from music and into film and media generation in its entirety. And so I've always just honed my skills for that. That's why I can engineer audio, and I can shoot film, and I can shoot photo, and I can do graphic design. It's because I've just kind of like, throughout all of those steps, I've acquired the skills I needed to do the next thing. It's like, all right, well, I got this band, or I've got, you know, whatever, and I need a website. Well, I better learn how to make graphics for that website. I better learn how to build a website. And it's like, all right, well, I can't always afford to get into the good studio, so I better learn how to produce music in my own home. And then it's like, all right, well, I can't always afford to have a sound engineer, so I better learn how to engineer sound live. And all of these things just kept piling up, and more knowledge. And the next thing you know, I got a camera in my hand and I'm filming on a movie set, and I don't know what the hell I'm doing. So shit, I'm buying a camera so I learn how to, you know, operate that camera correctly next time. And it just, again, it keeps building and it keeps building. And now it's at that point where that first movie I worked on almost 10 years ago is finally done. And it took 10 years because we were able to keep the same kids and let them grow up. So the kids that acted in this film, they stay the same kids as they grow up through the whole film. Because when you don't have a huge budget, you can't spend a ton of money to track down kids who look alike, you know? So like, these are the things you do. And the team of people that we acquired had that same mentality of, let's just acquire it ourselves and build it ourselves. So we teamed up with people who bought things like large equipment so that we could do those big boom shots, and they bought drones, and they bought all of those things so that we could just produce a film. And we went out and did it. And at this point, the real hope is that we sell that film, and that film makes us that money, and that film bankrolls the second film that we worked on. And at that one, which I think is more of a prestige piece than the first one, can actually propel us to where we want to be. And the hope is that by that point, I'm now in a position with that business that I can call Legion and say, hey, better write a pitch for one of those awesome stories you want to produce, because I got a boardroom full of people who want to hear your pitch. And I can call the boys and say, hey, guess what? Here's your plane ticket. You're coming to Massachusetts. We're going to record for a week and put out a whole fuck ton of podcasts, because we now have a podcast compound where we can just sit down and create content for a week. And oh yeah, you don't have to work ever again if you don't want to. Here you go. Here's
Sign your me
Mm.
up. I'm there. When do I
Chase
leave?
your dream.
Oh,
Exactly.
I got a bag packed already, dude. I'm ready to go.
Right. Exactly. It turns into a here, chase your dreams. You know, it turns into a hey, you know, I need an additional camera operator. Hey Vandal, you busy? You wanna come fly out and shoot for 3 months on this project? You know what I mean? Like that's the new goal now. It's to take that business to continue to work with the guys I've worked with for the last 15 years in entertainment and build that business into its final form where
Sounds like
I
an
can
Adam Sandler empire.
right, exactly. That's exactly that's
Happy
exactly
Madison,
the
bro.
vision. That's exactly our vision. You know, it's and to be able to call on all the homies from throughout our history. You know, like when I think about all the musicians that I've worked with over the years and the handful of them that are still making music today, you can bet your ass I'll be pitching tons of their music for projects because they're dope and they're still making music and they deserve to get paid. You know, because that's what it is. We all grind together, we all rise together, and when one of us succeeds, we bring the rest with us. That's always the goal. You know, a lot of people in this world learned from that school of thought where it was like take, crush, 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 gimme, 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 and that don't fly. That's never flied with this group of people here. Not once, not ever. We've always been all for one for all. And I feel like that is not a product of us as members of the vape community. I feel like the vape community is a product of the majority of people in it having that same mentality. That each one teach one, that each one help the next, that as I come up, I help my brother behind me come up too. And
Here's the thing, man. If you build your career by standing on the backs of other people and crushing them, eventually they will get crushed and you'll be back where you started. If you build your career by getting people to lift you up, eventually they will learn to get people to lift them up. And you will bring everyone up with you. You'll go higher and you'll bring more people up with you. And you'll
Plus, you
stay
always
there
have
because
somewhere to
you've got a
fall,
strong
right?
One thing that me and Sean set out to do, like when I first brought him onto the green room, was one thing we always wanted to focus on is community growth, because we had such a supportive community behind us when we started that we wanted to be that for other people. You know what I mean? That's why we brought, like when you guys started the Amigos and stuff, like we wanted to bring you guys on, share your guys' stories and share your guys' personalities with people, so they can understand why we enjoy liking you, and get you guys that same sort of viewership that we're getting, because we think you deserve it just as much as we do. And it's like why we try to reach out to some of the less known people and have them on the shows, and why we do like the Omis or the green room hangouts where we bring people in from chat on the shows to come and talk about. That way we get a chance to talk to people in the community as well, because who knows, there may be someone out there in the community doing something amazing that we have no idea about until we bring them on the show and they're like, oh yeah, well, by the way, I do this and that. I'm like, oh, well, shit, we never would have known. You know what I mean? And anything that we're able to do, whether it's bringing you on a show, giving you a shout out, whatever, like we're never against, doing anything to help promote anybody else, because time and time again, you guys have helped, like you guys here specifically have helped us promoting our shows, with the whole Omis Amigos Monday thing. Like you guys always give us a shout out in your thumbnails. You guys always tell people to check us out, and vice versa. And like, that's what we need, man. That's what the world needs, is people lifting each other up, like Legion said, instead of crawling and stepping on top of each other to climb their way to the top. If we all just like learn to lift each other up, it would just be so much like peaceful and better, just like it'd just be a better environment just to live in, man. You know what I mean? So that's what we're trying to
if you ever get to the top, like you're surrounded by good people. If you're going that other angle, once you get to the top, you have a million people grabbing at your ankles trying to pull you down.
And those who get there that way are also surrounded by others who got there that way. And so not only are you watching your ankles for the people at the bottom trying to grab you and pull you back down, but you got to watch your back, because all the people surrounding you are now looking to stab you in the back. Like there's the Trump school of business, which we all see how that works.
Yeah.
And then there's the do the right thing mentality. And at the end of the day, like that's what it all comes down to, right? It's do the right thing. You do what's right for your people, whether it's the people that you run with on your show, inside your vape community, inside your local community. You do what's right for your people.
100%. 100p. We're coming into the time. We've been on for an hour and a bit, folks.
I
Feel
didn't
like-
even get to go yet.
Yeah, well, you can go. Please.
Wow. Welcome to Adam.
No.
No!
No,
I record a podcast every Sunday. I know.
actually thought about it. Sorry. I actually thought about it, and I want to say, so I'll have something to throw in for once. Usually, I shy away from this stuff. But more or less, I can identify with a little bit of everyone here, whether it's like Ashton, creating his own path, Frames wanting to be successful to where he doesn't have to work again, or like Sean regarding himself as someone that started small and then expand himself out, and like how Legion started with something and then he switched over things. I can identify with a lot of that stuff, but I know I'm not saying this just to be myself, to be a dick, but I want to do the complete opposite of Legion, and I don't have dreams or anything like that. There's stuff I want to do, and I want to make really shitty commercials. I want to make the stuff that makes your skin crawl, and I want it to be stuff that you see like on Tim and Eric, and I've actually started talking to some friends.
Like the Better Call Saul commercials. Those are fucking gold.
Oh, dude, I want to do stuff like that, and so I've started talking to some friends here. And so on top of, because I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I'm kind of getting bored with photography right now. I'm just going through my lump. It is what it is. So I don't want to do that. So I'm gonna start making some really crappy commercials that are good quality crappy. And now I got like this whole thing where like this guy's gonna walk in and now it's gonna be sound like I'm jerking off. And I turn around, it's an empty bottle of juice. I'm gonna average, like local vape. Or I'm gonna do stuff with some wires. I'm gonna be in my garage all tied up, and I'll be like, someone walk in and be like, "Oh, Bob, why didn't you just order Breeze Tones?" And then like gonna have Breeze Tones there like a Mentos commercial.
Dude, I love
That's a
it.
killer
Yeah, I
idea.
want to see that. I want to
Yeah.
see that.
Yeah,
Get them
so-
rolling.
But yeah, no, I don't really have hopes and dreams. Not to sound like sad or anything like that. It's just not my kind of like thing. I kind of just roll with the punches. But that's what
Yep.
I got. Okay, Adam, now you can cut me off.
No, but there's so much more to that. Like, yeah, there's an end game situation, but like what everyone was saying, there's all the little steps in between, things you need to learn and things that those are the parts of the journey that make you that rounded person. And the big part of it. It's not the not the end
You
goal.
can't just get on YouTube and rub his nipples for 20 minutes. He's
Well,
got
the-
to actually make content that's worth watching.
Yeah. No, totally.
I don't know
Well-
if anyone in the chat will know this, but Internet Historian's another YouTube channel that I will always shamelessly plug if you guys are into slapstick, but good comedy to the point. Well, check that out. But that's kind of what I'm going for. Anyway.
Nice. Well, there's some pretty some heavy discussion. Awesome. Very nice. I guess it's the time for the promo situation. What's everyone got coming up? Shows, podcasts, work. It's all happening, right?
All of it, all the things, all of the time.
All the things.
Yeah, I got like 50 heavy hitters to try to fit in by Wednesday night before Frames gets here on Thursday, and then I gotta cram pack everything in. We got the Green Room Friday, we got the Shedtime podcast Sunday, so from Thursday on it's gonna be pretty crazy.
It's gonna be a whirlwind week, bro.
Yeah, you'll be able to catch Mr. Overdrip tomorrow night on the Clown Vapes channel for a little bit of that mixing it up action.
Facts.
And
And I think they were actually doing like for tomorrow. I think that what we're gonna do on the show is So last week we were allowed to make something and it had to be 3 ingredients only. So this week we're gonna take that 3 ingredient only mix and then we're gonna do whatever we want to it. So you can expand on the profile, you can add another profile to it, but you got to start with that base. So I'm looking forward to it because I already liked what I had last week, so I already know where I can do
Chris
some
is coming
better
out
things.
swinging.
Was that?
So Uncle Chris is coming out swinging.
Well, I think that
Swinging.
everyone's probably going to be doing all right, but like I already liked where mine was, so like for me it's just a few tweaks, and so I haven't even
Sure.
thought about it yet. Secret's out. I have not thought about it yet, but tomorrow, whenever I get home from work, I'll just like bust out all my concentrates and be like, yes, all right, and then go mix it
Go.
up.
And as far as for me, I should have a couple videos coming out this week. I'm going to be dropping my video for the Adam X from Silvercraft Creations probably tomorrow. So you guys can keep an eye out for that. And I'm in the midst of editing my video for the heavy hitter, which I'm hoping to drop before I leave to Idaho. So that should hopefully be up maybe Wednesday, Thursday, depending. Because I got to get packed and all that stuff. So just depending on how much time I've got, but I'm hoping to get this thing edited and out to you guys this week. And then of course the green room on Friday from I'm gonna be hosting the show from Paul Mispowda's house.
Oh,
So that's gonna be pretty sweet. And then I'll let Sham handle the Sunday banger.
You guys already know. Every Sunday at shedtimepodcast.com. That's right. shedtimepodcast.com.
Sponsored by
You can, get
Dynavap.
you can get your connection to all things Shed Time Podcast, all things Green Room. It's got links to all of our Instagrams. It's got links to all of our sponsors. It's got fucking sweet ass discounts from a bunch of those people too. So be sure to check that out. On top of all of that, right? The Secret Stash is live, guys. You can head over to the shedtimepodcast.com website and go peep the Secret Stash, which is additional content. Sometimes it's stuff that didn't make it into the show. Sometimes it's stuff that was really cool in the show, but we wanted to give you the video of it. Sometimes it's extra content that we've created specifically for the website and the Secret Stash.
nice.
So tons and tons of different stuff going on over there. So be sure to check it out all the time. Not to mention, you can also go ahead and buy the merch. You can link up to all of your favorite platforms so you can get the Shed Time podcast wherever. You can check out music from all of our musical guests that we've had. Yeah, tons of stuff going on over there. Shedtimepodcast.com. Go check it out. New episodes every Sunday.
Nice. Mr. Stephen Sarder's been dropping that link in the chat for you there. Thank you, Mr. Stephen
Appreciate
Sarder.
it, man.
Yes,
Appreciate
thank you,
it.
Steven.
Much appreciated.
You're the
Yeah.
man.
Peace, God.
Mr. Legion, what's your week looking like, my friend?
Oh man, same old shit, same old shit. I got a review coming up tomorrow for this thing. Looks like a pen, but it is a pod. It's the U pen. It'll be dropping tomorrow morning. Other than that, my usual run of live shows. Tomorrow it is Coffee with Legion Vapes. Friday it is Ion Vaping, and Sunday night it is back to the Aussie Vape Show. Somewhere in between all of those, you film me next week's round of reviews. Other than that, yeah, that pretty much keeps me busy. That's about it.
Nice. Mr. Vandal, any updates there, my friend?
We'll be back for Friday Fallout this week. I'll have Cody on the show. We'll see about Glenn. He's working his ass off, so he might not make it. Otherwise, because Adam's too fucking humble. Make sure you guys check out Adam's Coil at localvape.com. breezetones.com is this website. Wait, what's the link for your shirts, by the way? If you can type it in the chat, you guys. Adam.
Hashtag
Teespring.com/store/breezetones.
Oh, thank you.
all
Yeah.
that.
Yes.
Yep.
You can get a little discount on your Breezetones coils over there at shedtimepodcast.com because Breezetone is a sponsor of the podcast as well.
Yeah.
If you want your coils to sing like Celine Dion, you grab some breeze. goddammit.
Jack.
Max.
Yes, and also Victory Vape in Australia for the shameless shout outs. Victory Vape in Australia. Yeah. Appreciate it.
That smoke shop.
Yep.
Other than that, that's all I got. And then we use the code Amigos20 if you use local vape. Get them at a discount, Shed Time, and all that. Anyways, it's great shit all the time. Just you can find them everywhere. They're worldwide, and now in the
They're
Middle
everywhere.
East, we have any Middle East viewers, but if we do, we'll figure that out for you one day too.
Yeah.
Otherwise, that's all I got, Adam. I'm done S in your butt. What's up with you?
I got not much this week. Just hitting the shed. That's basically it. A few little things going on, but yeah, that's me. I got a boring life. So
Disclaimer: Breezetone's Shed Time is not our Shed Time.
no.
Way different. Way
The
different.
sound of a drill.
Yeah, a quiet drill. Yeah, it's a quiet drill. Yeah, but we want to thank everyone for tuning in tonight. We want to thank all the hashtag Shedheads for bringing all their fam love. Of course, everyone who always tunes into the Amigos and Co. Very, very appreciative. We wish you a well week, and yeah, I think that's it. Thanks for tuning in. Be good to each other. All that sort of stuff. We'll see you next week.
Don't forget to hug your
Sure.
kids and kiss your wife.
Hug your kids, kiss your wife, eat your greens. That's right. Look after yourselves, everyone.
Tell them you love them.
And don't forget, Kasa, dude.
God.
Kasa, dude.